Hello, everyone. I'd like to share a few quick thoughts with you about the book by Kamala Harris called 107 Days. I purchased it, read it cover to cover, and I have a few impressions that I'd like to share. Number one, I feel like it was really more of a travelogue and a personal diary than I had expected. She pretty much goes into almost a daily recitation of she went to this particular site, this particular state, this particular county, this particular city. She had this size of an audience. She said this mainly in her speeches. She got this kind of reaction. She may have said something that she shouldn't have said. Maybe she didn't present herself as effectively in this particular venue as she would have liked. She talked about her debate preparation and she talked about the actual debate itself. What I didn't get from the book was, and was a little disappointed, is that she doesn't really give an analysis as to why she lost. She seemed stunned. At the end of the book, you come across with the impression that she was very surprised that she had lost. And there isn't any prescription in the book as to now what do we do to go forward since we now have Donald Trump as the president of the United States. And she said very unflattering things about him and said he was basically an autocrat, a dictator wannabe. He was unhinged, etc. So now it's like, okay, well, given your expertise in having run a national campaign for president, what do we do now? So I understand why she may in fact have thought, and I got the impression that she thought that the electorate had let not only her down, but let the country down by voting for basically a convicted felon in Donald Trump. I understand as a candidate, especially as someone who may in fact run for a future office, that she would be hesitant to actually come out and be very truthful about that. I don't have such limitations and constraints. So I actually wrote a book called Willful Ignorance and Stupid Political Decisions, which talks about the Harris campaign and basically blames the electorate for it. And I go through all kinds of speculations as to what political pundits and talking heads and political junkies have given as their explanation of why Harris lost, and pretty much blaming not the electorate, but her campaign. I don't blame her campaign. I think she ran an excellent campaign. I think it was very professional. There were some mistakes, of course, but every campaign makes mistakes. My book, however, goes into great detail, not only analyzing the actual campaign that Harris ran, but spends more than 100 pages of my book talking about now what do we do? How do we go about winning the 2026 election and reversing this disaster? So that's what I have to offer in terms of what I don't think Harris offered in her book.